Call to order the St. Cloud Metropolitan Transit Commission Board to order on Tuesday, February 16th. It's the first item called to order and roll call, and let the record reflect that everyone is here, all the board members. Any additions or changes to the agenda, and which by the way, this is our first recorded, televised, or at least videotaped, not live, but this will be on our website available. So thanks to the campaign recommendation, and we had a previous meeting, so now we're doing that in the essence of making sure that there's another opportunity for people to have an opportunity to follow what's going on and hopefully then participate. So any additions to the or changes to the agenda?
No.
Move approval.
Second.
Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Consent agenda, items 5 through 8.
Motion approved.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda is approved. Old business, an update on Riders Advisory Committee meeting.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Now you gotta look over it.
Oh, this is, I want to be able to talk. No. Anyway, we had our Rider Advisory Committee meeting this afternoon, and everything went fine. On today's agenda was to further discuss any new ideas for placements for bus shelters or benches out in our community, which then spurs on more conversation about accessibility and all those great things that pertain to not only transportation, but city and the needs of all people that we serve. And then we also talked about the eligibility process for our paratransit and went through a physical and a cognitive assessment, so people are aware of how we determine whether or not individuals are eligible unconditionally, conditionally, or temporarily on our paratransit service. So it's always a good meeting. You know, I invite any of you to come and meet our board at any time. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. So, any questions?
Questions? Yep.
When is it? Can we get an email reminding us that it's happening at a certain time, or you could invite us maybe and we could hit accept and then it shows up on our calendar or something like that?
That might even be an agenda item. Meet our commission board. Yeah, we always meet at 12 o'clock on this Tuesday.
On this Tuesday, the third Tuesday of the month, same day.
Training Center.
Okay, well that's easy to
But if,
remember.
if one or two or all of you might be interested, we would love to put that on the agenda for you to meet the committee members. Or we could videotape it and, no. No. All right, anything else?
No?
Okay,
Seeing
thank
none?
you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the update. Under new business, 10, discussion of EEO report to the FTA.
Chair, Commissioners, the FTA's Office of Civil Rights requires FTA recipients to develop, implement, and monitor an effective equal opportunity program to ensure that recipients do not discriminate against any employees or applicants for employment because of race, color, religion, sex, disability, age, or national origin. And as an FTA recipient, we are required to submit an EEO program report every 3 years. Metrobus EEO report is due no later to the FTA, no later than March 1st, 2016. So if no further questions, this EEO report will be submitted prior to March 1st, 2016. There's an annual triennial thing that we do. We submit to the FTA.
Questions? Yes.
Well, the one thing that stands out to me in the list of all the people we aren't going to discriminate is it's devoid of sexual orientation. Is that something that we're also not going to discriminate against? Or is sex, because when I hear sex, I hear that you're not going to be discriminated because of your gender?
Orientation, gender, sex classifies. Whether straight, lesbian, gay, yeah.
It does, that qualifies it? Okay, can you just read it again?
The whole thing, or
Please?
just that one paragraph?
That one part about who we're not gonna discriminate against.
Okay, recipients that do not discriminate against any employees or applicants for employment because of race, color, religion, sex, disability, age, or national origin.
So sex encompasses gender. Sex doesn't seem to encompass both gender and sexual orientation. They seem to be two separate things.
Okay,
I don't know if anybody
You
else.
just want to make a motion to add that, that's normally the language that's
Okay.
used. in-
Oh, okay.
If we use the state's guideline for protected class, we could then make sure that it's, in
Okay,
fact, it's probably,
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is
Required.
a state guideline or if there is something different.
so then
Yeah.
I'd like to make the
but just
motion to,
to conform with the state guidelines for those protected classes.
Okay.
okay. That's the
And
motion.
and any other list that should be on there, so.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
But
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So to amend that, do you need approval for the actual,
Well, you may not have to
Submission?
amend it, you may have to just, it may be right.
it may be right, so, right. So if you guys, yeah,
If you need to
could
amend
approve
it,
it now,
amend
you
it.
know,
Yep.
with the pending changes, if I need to make a change
Okay.
instead of waiting till after March 1st, so.
No, just amend it if it needs to.
Just amend it for
yeah,
these changes.
to
Okay.
the report that, yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Well, of all the groups you send a report to, this would be the group that would notice if you had missed something. Consideration of award for insurance coverage, item number 11 under new business.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, this is our annual fleet liability, general liability, and property management insurance renewal. We had some minor adjustments during the midterm of the policy year. General liability, we added to $12.99 additional premium to our C&G public fuel sales, which we were aware of. Travelers had a correction to our C&G public fuel sales rate, so we received a $470 return on that. Also, on our auto coverage, Travelers had made an $11,446 error, and then realized that they did not make an error. We cashed a check, and so they're going to let us keep that $11,000, so that's good on our part. Inland Marine, we had the addition of a tenant floor sweeper scrubber, so we had an additional $168 premium added during the renewal year on that, midterm on that as well. Changes at renewal, everything remained the same. Travelers offered a couple of endorsement additions to our policy. Public sector services additional coverage endorsement was added for $250. Basically, that covers any act of God or anything that's out of our control, like a sewer backup, or tornado comes through and wipes out all of the utilities or our utilities in the area. If we have a fire call and it ends up being a false alarm and we get a charge for that, actually we can charge that back to our insurance coverage. So, public entity management liability was increased from $500,000 to $1 million. What that covers is any unscrupulous behavior by our board of commissioners. So if,
You got enough coverage?
well,
That $11,000 that we.
yeah, exactly. No, that's going to cover the cost. Overall, with those midterm increases and the change that renewal, we have a $2,744 increase, which is 2% for the upcoming year. And our fleet self-insurance fund budget was held at $12,500, and actually that's down. I think we were at $30,000 a few years ago. And then our self-insurance balance is currently at $255,797. So we're well covered for any catastrophic problem or accident, plus accident or problem we may have in service. So basically asking for recommended action to approve the renewal of our travelers insurance proposal through Minn Insurance and with Travelers.
So move.
Second.
Is there discussion? Seeing none, all those questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under new business, item number 12, discussion of the audiovisual recording options.
Chair, Commissioners, in your packet, you have 3 quotes or options. Last meeting, we discussed coming up with a plan for this meeting of different alternative solutions to video recording our board meetings. And in your packet, you have 3 quotes. One quote, $19,550.83 for Marco. Second quote, we have $11,230.14 for Marco. And then the third quote, we have different vendors, local vendors here, who basically charge per hour, half day, full day. And for example, we have a vendor here who's approximately charging $90 an hour. So this session here might cost anywhere from $200 to $400 a session. My recommendation, we have in our capital budget, right, as of today, about $80,000 for fiscal year 2017, where we're going to renovate the operations center, which would include the boardroom, offices, the hallway, different, like a renovation project, basically, which would include the boardroom, where at that time, we could look at adding audio, video equipment, having the wires, the cables, the screens, just like similar to what they have at City Hall or Wake Park, different, Sauk Rapids, different City Hall locations. We're going to, we could possibly do something like that here, and we have it in our budget, approximately $80,000, but once again, that includes the whole operations center. So a portion of that will go towards the boardroom, where we're renovating, get new chairs, new dais, things of that nature. So my recommendation would be to wait instead of trying to do it piece now. This option here, actually, we have the vendor now. This will probably cost anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 a year, depending on how long our board meetings are. The longer, of course, that'd be more cost. That's not budgeted. I mean, none of these items here would be budgeted, even if you go with option 1, 2, or 3. But we do have in our budget, like I mentioned, $80,000, where we could look to do it right one time instead of trying to spend money here just to, just to appease one customer or to appease citizens. Let's just do it right so we can have a nice finished project in the end. That would be my recommendation.
When there's 2 of them here, Epic Production says $150 per.
Yeah, that would be per hour, and then
That's per hour, that's not per meeting?
No, and then they have to set up, record, upload.
Because the next one down says
Editing.
$90 an hour.
It also
Right.
includes editing.
That's television, and that also includes editing too. So, yeah, he just forgot to put the hour there, but they're all per hour. So once again, they have to come in, set up, and then do the recording, and then after the meeting, they go back to their location, do the editing, cut, crop, paste, basically, and then send us the link. And then, once we review it, then we give it back to them, and then they upload it to YouTube or to our MetroBus website.
How many contacts have you had? Emails, personal contacts, people asking for
Just one.
one? So we're talking $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 for one contact. I think that's a waste of, at this point, until there's more demand, I can't see spending that type of money for one request. We're not, we're spending $13,000. Potentially, you could have to raise the rates for people riding for one person. It doesn't, until we get some more input that people really want this and verbally communicate with emails or something like that, I would make a motion to table this until the construction. We can talk about it at that point, and maybe at that time there may be some more input, but I would see more significant requests for it than one person.
I would agree. I'd like to see the results of this one. If we get any comments back or anything, this is a good example. There it is. I'm gonna look right at you and tell you. If you like this or you get a lot of them, call us. If we don't get any calls, nobody's watched it. So this would be a good example. I think this is a good test run to see where it goes. And then maybe work it into the 2017 budget, the process of redoing the whole thing, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Or at least have an audio maybe.
Mr. Chairman,
Discussion, yeah?
I just had a quick comment too. I agree with what Ryan said too, is we've been through that in Sauk Rapids too, where you try to piecemeal stuff. And we had the opportunity when we built a new building, obviously, to do it right this time. But it's hard to piecemeal these older buildings, if you will. And if we're gonna reconstruct the room or redo the room, I think that's the appropriate time to look at it again.
Well, I don't disagree with anything that's been said necessarily. I just don't think that it's realistic to think that in 2 years, $80,000, the price for this is 20,000. I just don't know how we'll redo the whole building, but so I'm thinking way down the line, and I don't know how you redo the whole building for $80,000 when the estimate for today for this kind of technology is 20. So that would mean a fourth of the budget to redo the building, which included the offices and maybe a new dais. It just seems like, I don't know, I watch enough home renovation shows to know that if you're gonna renovate something for $80,000, you really can only plan on renovating for $50,000.
Well, keep in mind also that part of the renovation happened on a separate bonding bill, that garage extension. That's part of the building renovation project as well. It's separate from this, but keep in mind that we are looking to expand our dollar rights section, and we're just waiting to get the final approval, the final go-ahead from Minn. And we're almost like 80% there, I want to say, as far as getting a contract, give or take. I mean, Sherry and I just signed a contract today, actually, or Friday, actually, we signed a contract. So we're getting closer to having that extension built. So that's part of, you know, when I say building renovation, no, that's one part of the building renovation, looking at protecting our vehicle. And then this is part of our capital budget, where we're looking at just doing different things within the Metrobus operations arena, I should say. The boardroom would be one, looking at different offices, looking at changing the wallpaper, you know, the floor, and just different things. Not just gonna renovate the whole building, we're just gonna look at renovating pieces that need to be renovated. So we budgeted $80,000 in our capital budget. At the time, we figured $80,000, but if we need to raise that, then we could look at, you know, raising it, you know, at the end of this fiscal year if we need to. And then we can have that discussion at that point in time. But as of right now, we do have $80,000 set aside just for capital improvements within this operations building.
Oh, I'll weigh in too here. I think when you're looking at redoing that technology, having the ability to at least upgrade even the ability to do, you know, training or a conference, and we don't have a lot of audiovisual equipment in here, I think that would be an advantage whether you're recording meetings or not. So have the ability to, I mean, I can tell you a conference room we have, you know, at City Hall that just has a, you know, it's a stationary camera, but you can do, you know, we did Skype interviews in that respect when you're interviewing people that maybe for positions that, you know, where you have a, that's how we interviewed your position, and we did that by Skype. We did it actually in that conference room, in a stationary camera that we use for other purposes, but also, I don't see any harm in looking at what those costs. The board would still have to make the determination if we did that in the future. We can factor that in, but maybe I would hope that it would be beyond just the recording of the meetings, maybe just having the ability to do that. I don't see any, from the aspect of transparency, I kind of like the idea of having something available where the public could go on the website and you know, rather than the audio aspect of it, having a video. It's a record of the meeting, and there's, you know, we haven't had any situations, I don't think, in the past where, in fact, I can't recall hardly ever we have really good minutes, because I have not had folks, you know, but if there's ever an issue, you know, we bonded for the very first time as an organization. There's some financial things that we do that I think are very significant in the fact that having a recording of it, I think, is just good government transparency. So I don't, it's a nominal charge, and you know, maybe those vendors would like to, in the goodness of the heart, to discount. Just looking at the camera. No, but we will have an opportunity to. First of all, I'm hoping our meetings don't go 4 hours. So I think it's a nominal fee to have that transparency. But again, you have it now. We meet once a month, and then if you could figure out a better, I would agree with Amy. 80,000 isn't a lot, but maybe if you could. I'm sure you need some other technology.
Yeah, not just
that you could use, and teleconferencing is a great way to save money than rather than going to a conference. You know, have it here in this room.
Yeah, we're looking at doing things like that. Yeah.
The camera and you know, some two-way communications. Any other discussion? There's no action. This is.
I made a motion to table.
Okay.
I made a motion to table until I suppose we could say when more construction and more value to, rather than a Band-Aid, let's have a permanent fix, and if in conjunction with any construction things, we'll put a hold on it until at that point.
I'll second that.
Motion to table until you get to a point of where you're looking at bringing a capital thing. Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. There's no discussion on a tabling motion. So
Okay, darn.
So we'll have to vote on this motion first. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion prevailed as tabled. All right, so we're under open discussion. And
Two
we've had
things.
some folks,
Oh, you wanna do that first?
yeah, let's do the public first, and then we'll come back under open discussion, if that's all right. I've got a list here of folks that have signed up, so we'll start at the top of the list. Kim?
I believe this is a delay tactic. There are many, I know there's different costs. More than one person has made this request. Many people would like to see these, the record of the meeting. A lot of people don't even know that this meeting exists. There's many members of the public, many community stakeholders that would like a record of this meeting. And under ADA, and I did check this out with Minn, under ADA, which is a federal law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, if a person with a disability makes a request such as this, their recommendation that should have been done right away last year. I made a request earlier in 2015. Beth Moline made another request. I believe it will, this is a public institution and public dollars go into it, and I believe having a record which is accessible to people with disabilities and people in the public is a good thing. And if this is going to be tabled, what alternatives could be given, even an audio MP3 file? Because we need to have a really good copy of these meetings. And then also, I think Beth might like to share a story about something she experienced a couple years ago. And then something I brought up last time, I'm again requesting that all members of the bus company, including the fixed route drivers, would have disability sensitivity training. Not all fixed route drivers really quite understand what to do when a blind person gets on the bus and makes a request, but I'll let Beth tell her story.
Okay. Hold on, I just want to, do you have any other thing? I'm just going to go down the list of people in the order, so if that's all right, just so I want to keep it fair and equitable. So Kim, do you have any other issues before? Because I do have, is it Ann?
Right here.
Okay, hi.
But I was wondering if you could please.
Oh, if you want to let someone go ahead, I just.
Please let Beth go before
Sure,
me.
that's fine, I just want
I
to
would appreciate that.
keep in order, so if people
Okay.
sign up in that order, I want to make sure that I'm keeping fair to the order that people are signed up, so. But Beth, that's fine, Beth.
Thank you. I wanted to say there was one time, and normally I enjoy being on the buses, whether it's fixed route or dial ride, but I was gonna say there was one time when I was on one of the fixed route buses, we got to the transit center and the bus driver didn't say anything about it, and the person that was sitting beside me told me that we were at the transit center then, and I told the bus driver that I thought he was gonna announce the transit center, and he said, "Well, you're here, aren't you?" And I said, "Do you have to be that way?" And I was thinking, there's certain bus drivers that don't feel that they need to call off the stops. I just don't think it's right.
Mr. Chair? Can I ask a question of Beth?
Sure.
Beth, did you, by any chance when that incident occurred, did you let us know?
I did, and someone thought that one of the other bus drivers was there near at the transit center, and she thought that it was Dan, but I didn't. I was told at the time that there were 3 Dans, so I don't want to blame someone that it might not have been.
Right.
But yeah, I did report it at the time, but I never really heard.
Was the stop enunciation system in the bus not operational? Because it should say transit center when they're pulling into the transit.
It wasn't at that time, actually. It was at a point where the GPS or whatever it was not in action at the time.
Okay. Approximately how long ago did this, was this some time ago?
Well, I think it was, if I remember correctly, back in 2010.
Oh.
I'm sorry that it was
Okay.
that long ago, but yes, I did report it at the time, but I'm worried there's a bus driver that we had trouble with, and that was when Andy Verdon was still alive. He even told the bus driver was saying, if I had my way, I'd turn that GPS system off, and Andy said if you do, you would be fired.
Other questions?
Why should we have someone who is gonna be that bitter driving the bus?
Anything else, Beth, you want to add to the discussion?
Well, I am in favor of at least audio MP3 on the thing, the MP3 of the meeting. And I'd like to know if this one is gonna be on the site, where to look for it on the site. And I wanna thank you for doing what you're doing with it today.
So to that question, and when you took an action, so that the board's action on the videotaping aspect of what do we do with the audio tapes?
So Libby uses the audio tapes to do the minutes.
The minutes.
Yeah, prior to, it's like this meeting now, Libby would do it next one, like the transcribing of the audio, put it into the minutes, and then put it with the packet for that, for the next meeting. Am I saying that correct? Right?
I use them to write minutes.
Okay.
And they sit in my desk.
Well, they sit here, there's no, is there a requirement to store audio?
Closed meetings.
Close the meeting.
Yeah.
Is there a way to, I mean, we took action on the video, but on the audio, to put that on the web, is there a way to just have that?
Well, the action was the audio / visual. That's what the,
Well, you tabled the audio, you actually always still have an audio, so
Yeah,
that's a separate thing that exists. So there's no action taken on that. Is it possible to get that tape on our web page so that if someone went there, they can listen to the meeting? That shouldn't be, if we don't have the technology to do that, then we.
I don't know. I would have to look at that equipment, I don't know how it works.
it's just basically that tape recorder there, that you just keep the tape, so we will have to find a way.
I mean,
to-
I could use my iPhone and
Wi-Fi.
record this and put that on the website.
Wi-Fi.
Right. I practiced with my iPhone
Yeah.
last meeting, and it picked up pretty well.
I think the question is if the website can handle it. And if the website can handle an audio tape with a button to start, it's simple to take an iPad or something and then transfer it over there.
I think we could work with Johnson Group to do that. We'll both start.
I would think any website would be able to handle audio. I can't think of a website I've ever went to.
I'm not
where
saying
you
that we
could-
can't, I'm pretty sure we can, but, using that.
Yeah, you just might need
A different technology
Yeah,
versus.
your iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have tabled the video piece, but this is something that exists. We record all these.
Right, we do.
I don't see anything, I think, in the area of transparency that we have that available to the public. I don't see why we wouldn't have that.
I'd make a motion to explore the audio capabilities of our website and the means to do that and get back to us at the next meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, do you think we need to wait till the next meeting? If you can do it, can't you just put it on the webpage? I'm trying to think of where we would need to have a discussion about putting something that
If
already
you can do it for no
exists.
charge,
Right.
If it's free.
Yeah, if you can do it for
If it's not free, then.
little or nothing.
little or nominal.
There you go.
Now, would you be
Non-budgeted
willing to
expense.
amend that? Just, I mean,
Yeah.
so we can just throw it on there, you can throw it on there.
Okay.
I have a feeling these type of recorders are very poor.
Yeah, I've never seen that. It's kind of an antique, and it's a.
Well, I think you have some trouble, don't you, with that, Libby, sometimes, just,
If I wear headphones, it's fine, but
Then it works.
if I played it right now for you, it would be horrible, yeah.
Can we give Libby a new recorder?
It works, it's fine.
A nice Wi-Fi capability.
A lot of digital recorders out there.
You okay? Is the seconder okay with that? Second?
Mhm.
I'll second that
Further
motion.
discussion? Okay.
Take care.
Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We had Ann also on the list here.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Well, I feel like in all fairness, besides expressing concerns, and all of us are part of our community, so we're all a team trying to work together, that I do want to represent both the positives and the negatives in regards to the bus, okay? And could you stand up, please? This lady here is wonderful. When I've talked to her before, so.
I'll get that on camera.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Thank you.
But I just want to let you, everybody know that.
Well, that's very nice of you.
And I feel it's good to recognize the ones that have done really well, you know, that I've come across, so. And I know you work really hard. I mean, I know that. But there, you know, are some good improvements that could be made, like such as a little more accessibility. Like for instance, like if you're going to the Rasmussen area or over by Five Guys, or you know which area of town I'm talking about.
Close to Wake
Almost Wake Park.
It's really dangerous crossing that street there. I prefer to take the safer route as possible by going to the crosswalk. But even there, it's kind of dangerous there. If I don't hear somebody correctly, please let me know, because I have some damage in this ear, you know. And that's part of the concern, like with all the traffic noise, can't hear, you know, I could hear, like, don't walk, but can't hear when it says to walk, you know? And I wonder if others might experience a similar situation there, you know, by, you know which highway I mean, by Rasmussen and everything. And there's not a stop right on the side of Rasmussen either. Either have to get off at Walmart and then go across the really busy streets, or go at a stop where there's no shelter. And I personally have gotten sick when I was coming back from Rasmussen after meeting with somebody, and the bus driver pulled away instead of stopping, and then I ended up walking to Crossroads and got sick. Plus, I was on crutches this past summer for dashboard injury. It's the common term, okay? But it's patellofemur syndrome. And that also wreaked havoc on my knee, you know? Walking to Crossroads from there to get a bus home, you know? And plus with asthma, that exacerbated that with the cold air, you know? Our Minnesota winters aren't always the most gentle, you know? And I know you can't control the weather.
No, we can't Wake Park.
That's their identity.
That's their identity.
It's always 75 and sunny in Wake Park.
That's the new. Well, thank you, Ann, for sharing. Anyone else didn't see it on the list, so Brian, you have some things to add?
Yes, I have two things, Chair and Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Dan Medell. He's our new marketing intern. 30 days on the job, maybe 32.
Just over 6 weeks.
Okay, well, a little bit more than 30 days. Time flies when you're having fun.
Right.
So I'd like to introduce Dan. He's our marketing intern. No?
You're so serious.
You got any audio visual?
From a
equipment?
college, St. Cloud State, St. John's?
I just graduated from St. Cloud State in December.
Oh, congratulations.
Okay, well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you.
Second thing, I'd like to, Commissioners, if you guys are available next week, Tuesday, February 23rd, we're having our St. Cloud 101, part of the St. Mayor Crisis Initiative. St. Cloud 101, you know, you go to different organizations throughout the city of St. Cloud, allow citizens and I guess community holders, stakeholders to learn more about different organizations here in St. Cloud and what services we have to provide and what services we have to offer, things of that nature. So it's our turn basically coming up next week, Tuesday, February 23rd. It'll be held at the Mobility Center. And Debbie Anderson, I think we have about 12 people signed up so far?
Yeah, there's 12 signed up.
Right. So Deb, Tom, and myself will be on hand to just talk about Metrobus. We have the Mobility Center, so we have the bus and the traffic signal, so have the real street corner inside the building. So I think it'll be exciting just to explain the services that we provide. If you guys are available, it'd be greatly appreciate it if you guys are available. I'll put on your calendar, make a calendar appointment, but I just wanted to formally tell you about it. February 23rd from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Mobility Center.
We're gonna actually get on a bus and ride it.
And I won't be driving.
That's what you say.
Anything else? Anyone have anything
No,
else? Okay.
that's it. That's all I have.
All right.
No.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 4:35.